Weather day for the threat of strong to severe storms capable of producing some gusty winds and hail. We're on your side with when we're expecting the storms to move through our area and if we could see some colder conditions.
Plus, with hail, a possibility for tomorrow evening, we're bringing you the weather extra on the science behind it and how it forms.
And warmer days are on the horizon as we head into a new week. We talk about what's to come and take you beyond the 7-day to your Easter weekend forecast.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into Weather Extra. Lauren and Tania joining us again. And this has been an event tomorrow. We now have a First Alert Weather Day. It just seems like every day we look at this, there's a greater chance for storms, a greater chance. But let's just stop it right here.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's stop it right here, please. I know people are storm fatigued at this point.
They are.
I know.
Understandably so. And I was telling Tania, I'm like, I feel like I jinxed it this weekend, given the forecast, because I was like, no more severe weather over the next week. And then these storms were like, well, why not?
Yeah, I said the same thing earlier this week. I said, hey, the good news, no severe weather, but hey, that changed. But listen, it's a low-end risk.
It's a low-end risk.
But it's there. We don't want this to move in and surprise us, catch us off guard tomorrow. So we are declaring a First Alert Weather Day. It's for the main concern, some gusty winds, some hail. And it's like we've been saying this evening, it's kind of like a summer setup with this particular setup, some scattered storms. And actually, this is going to drop in from the north. So if you are tracking this with us tomorrow, just know you open up your mobile device, you open up the Channel 6 weather app, and you see those storms on radar. It's going to be moving. We got to watch what's happening north of us. That's what's going to drift south. Storms are not going to be moving in from the west direction, but this is the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Bottom line here, we're seeing a low-end threat, but the threat is there for storms, gusty winds. You can see the greatest risk is with the wind threat. 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock starting off here for those areas to the north. This one model, you can see it kind of shows a line moving south, but we have some data that shows this even more broken as it moves south, kind of scattered as it drops south during the evening. But in setups like this, though, I have seen some big-time hail producers, so we got to watch for that threat tomorrow and some gusty winds. We're seeing the freezing layers kind of low. Looking at the atmosphere, there's a lot of instability, enough instability for storms, so that possibility is there. 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, this is moving from Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Anniston, so at the least, we're going to have some rain, threat of lightning, some rumbles as this moves south during that time frame. Shelby County to Bibb County by 9 to midnight. This is down into the southeast part of the area primarily. So this moves through quickly. It's mostly tomorrow night. So during the day tomorrow, most of the day, you are in good shape. Now, the threat for a tornado is extremely low with this particular setup. You can never say zero in any of these events, but it's very low. The main concern here is going to be some locally heavy rain, gusty winds, and the threat for cloud to ground lightning and some hail producers as this moves south. Things right now still very calm. I just show you the big picture. There was actually had a weather watcher follows me on Twitter, sent me a photo from Osceola, Indiana of some snow earlier today. So a lot of cold weather happening. We had some frosty rooftops earlier today. You can see right now as we go over to radar, of course, no problems, but the temperatures, I want to show you this, still close to 70 in a lot of areas. But grab the jacket if you're heading out tonight because it will turn off rather chilly quickly tonight. We'll have lows down into the 40s tomorrow morning, so no frost or freezing concerns early in the day, but certainly a cold start to the day tomorrow. Now, I know we're talking about rain tomorrow night. There could be some leftover showers on Friday. We're seeing a chance for some scattered rain in the afternoon. We're going to talk more about that and the weekend forecast coming up.
And Wes, as we prepare for the possibility of hail tomorrow, meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with an in-depth look on the science behind it and exactly how hail forms.
Well, tomorrow we do have a chance to see some large hail if any storms develop. So let's talk about how hail forms. Well, first of all, you got to have a thunderstorm, and usually you got to have a lot of unstable air that allows a lot of updrafts to occur and downdrafts. So that's the basic setup. You need a strong updraft and downdraft in a thunderstorm. A lot of motion within a storm. When that happens, rain drops and is carried into those cold parts of the atmosphere, and it's formed into hailstones. And what happens is when you got lots of updrafts, that hailstone gets suspended in the air. So when it gets suspended in the air, it can go back and forth, and it can actually get grow by colliding with those super cold water droplets way up in the atmosphere. So the more intense the storm, the more intense those updrafts, the more chances you're going to see that hail grow in size. And of course, when that happens, when it gets too heavy or there's not enough support from those updrafts, the downdraft will bring that hail to the surface, and that's when we have some major issues. So usually the stronger the storm, more likelihood you're going to see hail and maybe some large hailstones. So usually this happens during the spring and summer months when you have a lot of heat and a lot of energy in the atmosphere. And of course, we always look at hail size based off currency. So for instance, is it dime size, penny size, nickel size? Whenever hailstones become quarter sized or greater, that's when the National Weather Service will issue severe thunderstorm warnings. Of course, quarter size is pretty basic, but of course, when you get down towards the golf ball, tennis ball, and of course, unfortunately, softball, that's when you got to worry about roof damage and damage to your vehicles. And it can be pretty disastrous, especially when it gets to baseball and softball size. And that usually happens later in the spring months and sometimes in the summer months. So, hey, when you see a severe thunderstorm warning, you can either have strong damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour or more, or quarter size hail or larger.
And be sure to scan this QR code right here on your screen to download the First Alert Weather app. You'll be able to get the latest updates about tomorrow's First Alert Weather Day. And get this, you also get personalized forecasts to your exact pinpoint location. Lauren?
Thanks, Tania. Well, we certainly got some significant rainfall this past week, and one of those areas that we are still seeing the rivers at minor flood levels are over in West Alabama along the Tombigbee River. This is at the Bevel Lock and Dam, and so minor flood stage is at 122 feet. So as of right now, the current river levels are at about 123 feet. So we're still in that minor flood stage, but if we look at the forecast going into tomorrow afternoon, by Friday, you'll notice it's just continually going down. Now, of course, we do have that first alert for a threat of some storms tomorrow night, and those storms could certainly bring some heavy downpours, but it's not going to be a widespread flooding event like we saw this past weekend. So we aren't expecting major issues with any of the area's rivers. Instead, we should continue to see those river levels going down in our neck of the woods. Well, across America, rivers reaching record levels across Kentucky after days of heavy rain. Here's what it looked like Tuesday in Shepherdsville, where the Salt River has overflowed and flooded some streets. Flooding was also seen near downtown Louisville. Cooler temperatures could complicate cleanup efforts in the days ahead. Well, a similar situation happening across Missouri, where flooding is now beginning to impact businesses along the highway in Fenton. Nathan Vickers from our sister station KMOV has the latest.
The pool of water under I-44
is all flooded.
is the talk of Truman's Place and other businesses along Highway 141.
I expect a lot of traffic and not a lot of customers, unfortunately.
The closed-off exits mean a traffic-heavy detour through a maze of cones, making it hard for customers to get to their door.
I can see all the traffic that's been stopped in front of the business, and driving here is a pain in the butt.
Rich Vierling still made it in for some pot roast.
It's always a mess. It floods every time it rains hard.
But it's a frustration for him and others who live near the intersection.
5-mile drive is now a 12-mile drive.
It's sad because, yeah, it's going to impact all these businesses right here.
Many of them stopped by to take a look at the mess.
It's very murky and dirty.
In Eureka, the high school had to adjust its opening due to flooding on the property, and some voters had to change polling locations. In Valley Park, most businesses stayed open despite the road closures. MoDOT says it will keep the intersection blocked until the water recedes. Presley Carver at the Autumn Gray Boutique hopes to see the water going down soon.
The traffic's been really terrible for people to be able to come in since it's been flooding, but it's been very slow.
For now, businesses are glad to see the few who took the detour.
The regulars, they are loyal, they'll be here no matter what. If they have to take a kayak here, they'll get here.
Well, coming up in 30 seconds, we talk about how low temperatures got today. Checking in with our First Alert Weather Watchers. Plus, we're going to take a field trip down to the farm where we learn about the best tools to use for your garden when the temperatures fall. We'll be right back. It is time for a check-in on your forecast. As we look ahead to tomorrow morning, it won't be nearly as cold. So that's one good thing to note if you have any plans over the next couple of mornings, or really at least for tomorrow morning. Starting to warm up a little bit, but you still want a sweater and jacket heading out the door. The good news is, as we approach your Friday, yeah, there could be a few showers around, but the afternoon won't be terrible. I think there'll be plenty of breaks. As we approach your Friday, looks like there's an event happening at the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater out in Tuscaloosa. Slight chance of rain. You're going to want a jacket. A rain jacket will do you just fine. Maybe even some long sleeves as temperatures drop into the lower 50s. I got to show you the weekend though. Although the weekend mornings still look pretty cold, if you're heading out to the Red Shoe Run, another morning you're going to want a sweater and a jacket. 7 a.m. in the 40s, 9 a.m. in the 50s. The afternoon, late afternoon, looks great. Plenty of sunshine, drying up for the weekend, really Saturday and Sunday, plenty of sunshine. But that's the Red Shoe Run out at Railroad Park. There's also an event happening Sunday at Railroad Park. Temperatures starting off in the 60s for the Birmingham's Spring Festival. That sounds fun. I heard it's Easter themed too, so get out there and have some great fun. Enjoy the sunshine. 3 o'clock, low 70s. Again, dry conditions both Saturday and Sunday. We just got to get through tomorrow and Friday with a few showers passing by. But check this out. This is an image sent in from Travis Tyler. It's frost on the top of his truck in Hayden this morning as temperatures fell. So let's talk about those low temperatures that we saw. Let's check in with some of our first alert weather watchers here. 32 degrees in Oakman from Sarah Porter. Lamar County, Tony McDonald, 35 degrees. 33 in Columbiana, Travis Braden. Talladega, Joseph Williamson, 36, right at freezing in Piedmont from Rick Freeman, and 37 in Northport from our good friend Bud Bean. Lauren?
Well, Tania, those low temperatures may also have caused some of you, like me, to bring the plants inside over the past couple of days. But meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now as she speaks to the experts on what you should do on those chillier days to properly protect your plants.
All right, guys, we are back at Jones Valley Teaching Farm. You know, it's one of my favorite segments that we do on Weather Extra, and I'm joined with Farmer Jess, and we're going to go over the frost and the freeze this time of year. We had a frost advisory early this morning. In addition to that, a freeze warning, and I can see the plants around here had their protective covering. I think it's always a really good idea to refresh everyone's memory on what we can do this time of year to protect our sensitive plants.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of our plants really thrive in this kind of weather that we're growing in this time of year. So think like leafy greens or root crops. You don't need to worry about them when we get a light frost like we did last night. But our more sensitive crops, think summer crops, fruiting stuff like peppers and tomatoes, eggplants, those you do want to protect from a frost.
And can anybody just grab a sheet, or do they need a specific type of protector?
Yeah, absolutely. A sheet works. I even saw a farmer on Instagram this morning using burlap. But you just want to make sure that you take those kind of things off because they're not as breathable and the plants need sunlight. But there are certain protective covers that you can buy that are specifically for protecting your plants from frost.
And the ones that you guys have here at the farm, I've noticed they're more of a white, they're thin, and they're breathable. Talk to me about the actual process when it comes to protecting them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is a material called frost cloth, and it can raise the temperature underneath the frost cloth by 10 to 15 degrees. And you want to make sure that the cloth, whether it's a bed sheet or like a special agricultural fabric, that it's not touching the plant. If it touches the plant, it can still burn the plant.
Interesting. All right. Such great information. And if you want to learn more, you can always come by here. And you've got something fun going on Friday. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Friday, we're doing our spring open house. It is from 4:30 to 6:30. We'll have taste testing, culinary demos, fun games for kids. It's completely free and welcome to the entire community. So come out to our downtown location, which is 701 25th Street North, and hang out with us. And you can learn about all the different programs we have, how to get involved in volunteering with us and in gardening with us and learning from us.
So a completely free event tomorrow. Remind me the times one more time.
It's Friday from 4:30 to 6:30.
So not tomorrow, Friday. I've lost my train of thought. So yes, this coming Friday, going to be a good time here at Jones Valley Teaching Farm. So thanks, Farmer Jess. We protect our crops, and we'll talk much more in the next couple of weeks about the plants that we should be focusing on this time of year. Absolutely. I'll send it to you guys back in the studio.
Thanks, Megan and Farmer Jess. You know, Tania, I think we could use some of those frost cloths for the weather office. So it's about 10 to 15 degrees warmer in there, especially here in the studio. But let's look at that car wash forecast for tomorrow. We do have a first alert weather day tomorrow evening for that threat of some severe storms that could produce some damaging wind gusts or large hail. But during the early part of the day, I would say at least through mid-afternoon, if you need to go get your car washed, if you're already seeing some pollen getting stubbornly on there since the weekend rain, you should be good to go. I think at the earliest we can maybe see an isolated shower or storm by 3-4 o'clock in northeast Alabama. Otherwise, most of that is going to hold off until later in the day. So the one thing is, though, do you want to go to the car wash before you have rain coming through? That's totally your call. But if you're a little bit more type A about your car, you may want to go before those storms come in. Well, don't go anywhere. We continue to bring you the latest for tomorrow's First Alert Weather Day and take you beyond the 7-day for a sneak peek at Easter weekend. We'll be right back. Here you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. We do have an alert day tomorrow for the possibility of some strong to severe storms, 4 o'clock until midnight tomorrow night. Main concern, gusty winds, some hail producers. Certainly going to see some rain and the threat for lightning, and that's with a cold front that's going to move through here. This is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center showing a slight risk for most of the area, level 2 out of 5. Again, this is on the lower end of the scale, but it's enough to where we need to be weather alert. You can see the wind is going to be a big concern out there tomorrow night, but we could easily see some storms with quarter-size hailstones. So tomorrow night, just stay alert for that risk. And then after that, we go into Friday, we will have some improving weather conditions. But for the rest of tonight, we've got dry weather. Let me step over here. You can see I've got the winds pulled up as well at the top of the screen. You can see a very calm night tonight. Again, we've got some excellent weather right now. It's been just an absolutely picture perfect day. It doesn't get any better, but tonight we're back in the 40s, so you will need the jacket for later on tonight. No frost or freezing temperatures early tomorrow morning. And we warm up quickly. We'll be back in the 70s, and most of the day tomorrow we're in okay shape. But what happens is we have those scattered storms starting to show up around 4 or 5 o'clock to the north. So check in with us right here. We'll be tracking some of those tomorrow later in the day. You can see the winds out of the west-southwest at about 10 to 15 out ahead of that cold front. This is one of the models. It shows the coverage really starting to fill in here around 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Keep in mind that the storms will be moving in from north to south. Northwest to southeast. It's kind of like that northwest flow setup. We'll see those storms dropping in, and any one of these could again produce some gusty winds, some large hail as they move south, some cloud to ground lightning, so just stay alert for that. This one model kind of shows it breaking up a little bit. It's kind of scattered, but we've had some models that suggest more of a line that moves south. But bottom line on this, it's the best chance of rains happening in that 9 to 10 o'clock time frame. This moves on through, and then by midnight through most of Friday, we're in pretty good shape here. I want to show you this. Friday morning, 7 o'clock, you can see we're dry, but when we take this into Friday during the day, notice some showers come back during the afternoon, moving in from north to south again. So models are saying not so fast. There might be some wraparound moisture with this later on Friday. So we did include a 30% chance of rain. The weekend still looks dry. Monday looks dry, warmer. We've got a chance of showers later on Tuesday, and looking ahead to Easter weekend, it looks like from Good Friday into that Saturday, the 19th, a chance for showers and storms. But right now, as we go beyond the 7-day forecast, Easter at this point looks dry, and hopefully it stays that way, Tania.
Oh yeah, listen, Wes, I know many people want to get outdoors Easter Sunday, catch those Easter eggs, or at least find them, right? And maybe you might find a little money in some of them too. But here we are looking at that beyond the 7-day forecast. Let's talk about it and break it down. April 17th through the 23rd, it looks like the western half of the United States dealing with above average temperatures, but the eastern half, we are fighting winter. We are battling it, and spring is not winning. Below average conditions could return to us as we approach your Easter weekend. So just keep that in mind. As far as rainfall, we're still looking mainly near average. There could be some parts of central Alabama right around, I'd say slightly above average, but not looking terrible off track where we typically are this time of the year. So let's kind of walk through those rain chances, April 17th through the 23rd, and let's break it down a little bit here. We bring in later into your April month. This is the 19th. Looks like a few showers around, but hey, looks dry for April the 20th. It looks like the clouds clear out. Looks like we have more of a northerly wind. So that's going to cool us off possibly, but I don't think it's going to be terribly cold for the afternoons. And as long as it's dry, you'll still be able to get outdoors and enjoy it. Now, it looks like some showers could be around April the 23rd. Not seeing any severe weather as we approach the April 17th time frame to April 23rd. So just keep that in mind. We'll talk more about that beyond the 7-day forecast. Weather Extra, Monday through Friday. Lauren?
Well, Tania, today I had the chance to visit some special ladies down or right over in Jefferson County in Hueytown at the Hueytown Study Club. I just want to give a shout out to these wonderful, sweet women. We met at one of the churches there in town, and they invited me specifically not to talk about weather, but to talk about mental health. If you know me, you know I love to talk about mental health and fighting that stigma. So huge shout out to these ladies to helping me find my sunshine. And that's what we always try to do and encourage them, because there is always sunshine after the storm. So big shout out to them, a great group of people. And you know who I thought would have fit in there really well? My mother. So next time she's in town, we got to drive over to Hueytown. Well, we'll be right back with you with a final check on your forecast after the break. And let's take a look at those weather photos before we send you into your Wednesday evening. A foggy sunrise over Oxford sent in from Ross.
Did you say frog or fog?
I definitely said fog.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Tania whispered at me to enunciate. Wow, that's gorgeous.
Hey, yeah.
That is gorgeous.
Bob Phillips there with a lovely photo there of the flowers at Hubert Farm.
Oh, yeah, that was gorgeous. And this one from George Dockery, Lake Tuscaloosa. Oh, so beautiful. And this, ooh.
Oh, wow. Y'all got some good views.
Yeah.
This is sent in from our dear friend Justin from Morgan Lake Falls.
Did you see how high the water was there at Lake Tuscaloosa? It was over the docks.
Yes.
But now, you know, the water levels are improving, but we'll see some rain, possible severe storms tomorrow night, so we'll need to watch for that. We'll have updates tonight, first at 9.